All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Finalize. And in this video, we got a Terence Crawford sighting in the hometown of Errol Spence Jr. Could this be the sign that we are about to get this thing done? Terence Crawford was definitely put that out there on Instagram, and we know how that man rolls. So let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Finalize. In this video, we're going to talk about the 147-pound division and a message sent out there by Terence Crawford in his usual cryptic fashion. It seems as if he is stepping to Errol Spence Jr.'s hometown, Dallas, Texas, and put it out on Instagram. And there ain't much other reason that could happen, but then letting us know potentially what is going on. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel by hitting subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you are a longtime subscriber or supporter, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for continuing to watch the channel. It's greatly appreciated. And let's get into this Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight. Terence Crawford has been speaking out more over the last couple of days about the fight. Yesterday, there was an interview aired with him on DAZN where he talked about the holdup or the things that were taking place, in the fight, and said pretty much that it is business, that they still have business issues that they need to work out to make that fight happen. Now it seems as if he is in Dallas, Texas, and I don't understand why he would be in Dallas for any other reason than maybe to speak to Errol Spence Jr. to see if those guys could talk directly and try to figure out what they can do to make the fight work. I'm not sure why, if Al Heyman would fly in or whatever. Maybe they're having a business meeting for that. But other than that, I don't know why in the world Terence Crawford would publicize that he's in Dallas, Texas. And I can guarantee you that he was there because several people that I know that are in Dallas said that they saw him at the mall when he was there. So his presence, he being there, is absolutely there. Now, you also have Derek James, who is seeming more and more, put out a couple videos yesterday talking about what he was, grinding hard consistently. You know what I'm training for. You know what I'm doing. You see Errol Spence Jr. out there in training, posted his videos up about him, with him. You can check it out on the YouTube Shorts section of this channel where he's basically laying into this heavyweight and sparring. So as far as those parties go, looks like all those guys are really, really trying to make this fight. And I think this is important to say because some people confuse like videos that I make and things when I'm kind of like representing points from different sides to saying that I think that one of these guys is ducking the other guy. I really do not believe that these guys are ducking each other. I do believe Terence Crawford wants to fight. I do believe Errol Spence Jr. wants to fight. I just think that the business problems that would hinder this fight from being made do not necessarily ride on Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford specifically, but probably lay more at the feet of the PBC and Showtime Boxing, who would be putting those fights on. Because even though this is a fight that generates a lot of conversation, it's a fight that has a lot of, people have a lot of interest in it. When you look at the background of it, it's not a fight where you're guaranteed that where it just screams, oh, this is a huge moneymaker off the paper, right? Now, off of what people are talking about and what hardcore boxing fans are really interested in, yes, it really does seem like the core fan base of boxing fans are really, really, really engaged in this fight. They really do look like they're engaged. But here's the thing. Leonard Ellerbe had said at a point when he was talking about, the pay-per-view numbers for Gervonta Davis and whether or not those fights, the fight with Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney and Lomachenko, whether or not those are really big fights. What Leonard Ellerbe said is, look, I know the pay-per-view numbers, and we know there's basically a couple 300,000 real hardcore boxing fans that you can count on buying pay-per-views. what you need in order to make the mega fight is you need the casual boxing fans interested in that fight. So just because we have a lot of push and a lot of talk about it in hardcore boxing circles doesn't necessarily mean that that fight is going to really translate out beyond that, right? And so that could be very well be where Showtime and the PBC are coming with it, because those numbers are not out there on paper. You have Terence Crawford's pay-per-view numbers out there at 50, gradually growing, I do believe, from 50 to like 95 to 125 to 150, whatever they are. But pretty much, all of his pay-per-views combined add up to a little less than one of the pay-per-views for Errol Spence. So you got Errol Spence Jr. who can do in a good fight 350,000 pay-per-views. And you could be being asked to invest large amounts of money, but not just invest large amounts of your money, but invest large amounts of your future, right? The future of Showtime boxing on that fight, right? Because if Terence Crawford isn't signed with Showtime and he comes over there for a one fight deal, gets all the belts, and then he moves on, what is he, how is that going to help Showtime? How is that going to help Showtime, right? Because now you got Errol, who lost. Errol's may not be as big of attraction as he was. You got Terence, who then is going to move off and fight who, right? You just don't really know. And they just, because they made that fight with Tyson Fury, lost one of their bigger stars in Deontay Wilder as a major attraction, at least for the time being. So, I just wanted to be clear that I really do believe that Terence Crawford wants to fight. When people say, Terence is ducking, I don't see that, man. I do see that he's somebody that is confident that he can win the fight. He's somebody but does definitely want to make a lot of money for that fight, because that's a fight that you should get paid a lot of money for. It is one of the best fights that you can make in boxing. And if you had to do a valuation on a fight based off just what the quality of the opponents are in the fight, that would be one of the biggest high values that you could offer boxing fans. The question is, when you put together this car that is, that has all of the best, the best of everything, is aerodynamically, aerodynamically designed. It's got this great, powerful engine, but it runs smooth, right? It's very, very balanced. You got a great sound system, great upholstery, all of that, right? However, if people don't want to buy it, what you just have is a very expensive car that is very, very nice. And now you're stuck with all the money that you lost trying to build it if it doesn't sell, right? Where other people are like, hey, man, let's go with the more surefire car, with the more surefire lines that we've done, where we know people recognize the name and want to buy it. It's a Mustang. No matter what kind of Mustang we put out, people are going to want to buy that car. If you come up with some new line of car that nobody's heard of, or people are not as invested in historically, they may not buy it. So I think that may be the situation that they're caught in. But it's good to see that Terence is in Dallas. I certainly hope that is to try to negotiate the fight and get this business stuff settled so that we can announce the fight. But anyway, you let me know your thoughts on the subject matter. It would be greatly appreciated. Hit that like, subscribe if you are not subscribed. Leave a comment in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.